Hello, my name is Micah Jessie, and I'm going to demonstrate to you today how to use a figurative language smart notebook lesson. This lesson is targeted for the categories of reading and writing and for 5th grade. The first slide just gives the introduction as to what the lesson will be about, figurative language. It also gives a visual for maybe what students can make predictions and pull prior knowledge. The second slide gives the word figurative language and the definition. Authors use many types of figurative language in order to help the reader visualize and understand what they are writing. This definition is very basic for students, and it will be easy for them to understand. It also gives 6 examples of what figurative language types are. Moving to the next slide, the next 2 slides talk about each type or one type of figurative language. This slide I have set up to where it shows the actual word and the definition. Then have students give an example of what a metaphor would be based on the definition, comparing 2 nouns that are not alike. Scroll down and it gives a common metaphor that students should be familiar with. It's raining cats and dogs. Going on to the next one, simile. These 2 are very similar, but simile uses the words like or as to compare the nouns that are not alike. Now my suggestion would be to maybe cover up the definition and just show the word so that students can give you the definition that they think a simile is. And then scrolling down and showing the example, as sick as a dog. After 2 slides, the lesson gives an activity for students to complete. I really like this activity. It's very visually engaging for students. It has a spinner that says simile and a spinner that says metaphor, and then at the bottom it has different examples of what similes and metaphors are. It is up to the students to place them in the correct circle. So for example, if I took blind as a bat and I said, oh, it has like or as, I'm going to put it in the simile. It immediately absorbs that to show the students that it is correct. However, if I take eats like and I want to put it in the metaphor section, it spits it right back out and puts it right back down. So students can quickly see that it is not a metaphor, take it and place it in the simile. And it does it for all of these, heart of stone, apple. It absorbs all of these, and students are able to immediately see that that one is not correct. Place it in the simile, roadhog, chill out, couch potato, cool. Then they are able to reset it and try again. Next slide talks about alliteration, and it is shown with the slide and just the repetition of the same sound at the beginning of a word in a line of poetry or in a sentence. You can scroll down, move the shade, and it gives an example. Going to onomatopoeia, once again, you can cover up the definition and ask students what they think it is. Onomatopoeia is using sound words to describe sound. And then it gives the example bang. Very common, very easy for students to relate to. The next game reinforces alliteration and onomatopoeia. Students are going to have some prior knowledge of what these 2 are in order to do this. This lesson is more of a supporting lesson, not necessarily an introduction or a has-it-all lesson for you to use. So onomatopoeia, alliteration. Onomatopoeia, sound words. Alliteration is using the same letters or sounds. So alliteration, eating enough, slam the door, crashed, and the balloon. Students can immediately, as they're placing these, just check to see which is right and which is wrong. If it is wrong, they are able to place it, and then you can reset it, or you can solve if you would like to go ahead and just show the students which is which. The next one, hyperbole, same concept, slide with a shade and the definition exposed as well as the word. An exaggeration that is not meant to be taken seriously. Close down, we had to wait forever. Students are going to respond to that because this is one that they say a lot of the times. So just an exaggeration. Then write some hyperboles that you've heard recently. This allows students to take responsibility for their learning and write it down. You can have them write it in their writer's notebook, in their journal, or you can simply have a journal entry on a piece of paper that's already printed out for them to do, or you can have them come up and write on the smartboard. The next one is personification, describing human qualities in something that is not a person. Scrolling down, my computer died. I love the visual. It allows them to see my computer died, making it a person. Then, this is kind of like Mad Libs, and students are able to fill in the blanks. So after a hard day of work, the shovel broke, or the shovel bent in two. Finish these sentences using the personification. Doesn't really give a correct or incorrect answer, but you can monitor these with your students. The end, the very last slide, let's see what you remember. I love this. It reinforces. It allows students to go back and show what they have learned. It also makes sure that the teacher knows what her students or his students do and do not understand. So personification would be giving human-like characteristics to non-human. Onomatopoeia is sound words. Alliteration. Let's say, for example, I placed this in the wrong spot. Alliteration would be comparing unlike things using like or as. Hyperbole is an exaggeration. Simile is comparing, and metaphor, comparing unlike things. So now I'm going to check it, and it shows me which two I have wrong. So I know automatically that I need to switch these two. And talk about misconceptions when you do this. Always follow up with your Smart Notebook lessons. That is the end of this presentation. I hope you enjoyed this slideshow and this presentation from Smart Notebook. This is something that I would use in my classroom, and that it would support very quick an activity to maybe at the end of the lesson support what I've taught and show me what my students know.